Picture this. Morning in LA. Same city, same grind. But this time, I'm riding above the crowd. I'm 6'5" and I used to work at a Fortune 500 company. Perks, career growth, great pay. On paper, it was perfect. Until the layoff. In that moment, it hit me. I built my whole life around a paycheck that could disappear in one email. Not a life, not a rhythm, just income with anxiety attached. I realized I spent years chasing the biggest paycheck I could find and almost no time thinking about how my life actually felt. So I did something different. I took a lower paying job in downtown LA, working for a state agency. And for the first time, I'm taking public transportation to work. Not because I have to, but because when you take a pay cut, you got to cut somewhere. And let's be honest, I'm not cutting food. Not in downtown LA. There's way too much good stuff down here. So now I'm running an experiment. Every day from my seat above the crowd, I'm exploring the San Fernando Valley, the Metrolink, in downtown LA to show you what this trade really looks like from my perspective. Surveys say about half of adults would take less money for a better life. More balance, less stress, more time. I actually did it. By the end of this journey, I want you to be able to answer one question for yourself. If you could trade less money for more life, would you? Before you answer that, ride this day with me, because I'm not sure if I made the right call yet. I'm on the train again, and I'm still not totally sure if this was a smarter move than driving. There's always that little voice in the back of my head doing the math. Less money, less stress, same city, same problems. Most mornings, this ride feels like a pause between two lives. The one where I used to grind it out in traffic, and this new one where I've decided to slow down. At least a little. I'm surrounded by people who are just trying to get somewhere, just like me. And nobody's really talking. But there's this shared tiredness in the air. If I was driving right now, I know exactly how I feel. Tense, annoyed, already behind before the day even started. On the train, I still have my worries, but they're not in the driver's seat anymore. I'm not reacting to every brake light, every random slowdown, every shortcut that isn't. Up here, I get to sit with my own thoughts for a minute. I notice how my brain slows down once the ride settles into a rhythm. I'm not fighting for space. I'm just being carried forward, whether I overthink it or not. There's something strangely honest about this commute. No one's flexing. No one cares what you drive because you're not driving anything. We're all just regular people moving through the same system, hoping it gets us where we need to be. And yeah, the trade-off is real. I did walk away from more money. There are days when I open my banking app and wonder if I've completely lost it. But then I remember how it felt to pull into work already exhausted from the road. Like I'd already done a full shift just getting there. Here, I arrive a different kind of tired. Not burned out, just human tired. The kind where you can still reset during the day. Not the kind that sticks to you from the moment you wake up. As we get closer to my stop, that old question comes back. Was this actually worth it? And I still don't have a clean answer. Nothing you can plug into a spreadsheet. But I do know this. When I step off this train, I feel calmer than I used to pulling into that parking garage. Right now, that's enough. Enough to keep riding. Enough to keep seeing how far this experiment can actually go. It makes my choice feel less like a personal crisis and more like a shared secret. Here, I arrive a different kind of tired. Not burned out, just human tired. The kind where you can still reset during the day. Not the kind that sticks to you from the moment you wake up. On mornings like this, there's always that question floating around. Did I really upgrade my life? Or did I just trade one kind of chaos for another? Inside the train, nothing looks fancy. It's just bright lights, worn seats, and a bunch of strangers pretending this is all totally normal. But once the ride settles in, the noise in my head starts to quiet down. The constant rumble, the little sways, it all evens out into this steady rhythm that's weirdly calming. I start thinking less about what I left behind and more about how this actually feels. I'm not stuck in a line of cars. I'm not gripping a wheel, watching the clock, bracing for someone to cut me off. I'm just here, moving through the city without having to fight it. The doubts don't disappear. They're still there in the background. What if I'd stayed? What if the money I walked away from comes back to haunt me later? Somewhere between these stations, I'll always drift into the same question. If this experiment fails, what's my move? Go back to chasing titles? Try to claw my way up again? Or double down on this slower life and hope it pays off later? But at the same time, there's this small growing part of me that's excited. Excited that my commute doesn't have to be a daily battle anymore. Excited that maybe, just maybe, this slower, quieter version of getting to work is actually the better one. By the time I'm getting close to my stop, I'm not trying to solve my whole life anymore. I'm just appreciating that for at least this stretch of track, I'm not at war with the day yet. The moment the train doors open, the whole mood flips. That quiet little bubble from the ride pops, and I'm dropped straight into the chaos. Union Station is wide awake. People are moving with purpose. Fast walks, rolling bags, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. It feels like everyone suddenly remembered they're late to something important. There's this wave of sound that hits all at once. Footsteps, rolling suitcases, announcements bouncing off the ceiling, random conversations layered over each other. You can feel the energy bouncing around the hall. I'm walking through this crowd of half-asleep commuters, confused tourists, and locals who could do this route with their eyes closed. Everybody's headed in a different direction, but somehow nobody collides. It's messy, but it works. This is the exact moment I'm reminded why I chose this. Not just to save my sanity from traffic, but to actually feel the city. Right here, you get all the layers at once. People arriving, people leaving, people starting over, people just trying to make it to another shift. I could be alone in a car right now, in climate control, in silence, pretending I'm above all this. Instead, I'm in the middle of it. no tinted windows, no comfortable distance. It's cheaper, sure, but the real cost is that I actually have to feel the city I live in. I can feel my own energy pick up as I move through it. Heart rate up, pace faster, brain switching from reflective to let's go. The experiment stops being an idea and starts being real life again. By the time I hit the doors and step out onto the street, I'm not just some guy who took a pay cut. I'm part of this whole moving system, carried in with everybody else, ready to see what the rest of the day does with me. And once I step outside these doors, the city gets even louder. And so do my doubts. When I step out of Union Station, I realize I'm not special at all. I'm part of this unofficial little walking convoy. There's a pack of us making the same trek downtown, all headed in roughly the same direction, pretending we just happen to be walking the same pace for 10 straight minutes. It's early, so LA hasn't fully put on its chaos yet. The streets aren't slammed. It's just a few of us commuting on foot while the city is still clearing its throat. The light hits the buildings just right. The air is actually breathable. And for once, you can hear your own thoughts without them competing with horns and sirens every 5 seconds. Then you look over at the parking lots and remember where you live. People have pulled up ridiculously early just to hunt down those free parking spots like they're trying to win a game show. You got cars circling, hazards blinking, folks camped at the end of the road like, if I stare at this space long enough, a car will materialize. It's like Black Friday, but for asphalt. Every time I see that, I think, this is what I walked away from. The stress over 30 feet of pavement. But the crazy part is, there's still a version of me that misses it. The competition, the grind, the feeling that if you just out-hustle everybody, you win. As I walk toward the historic core, I pass the people who actually live on this route. Some are still wrapped in blankets. Some are already up and loud. Every now and then, someone is just straight up yelling at the universe. And you can't tell if it's at you or the air or the people walking by who, like me, are all pretending it's just another background sound effect. It's slightly unhinged and somehow completely normal at this point. If you only ever drove through downtown, you'd swear these people were just scenery. When you walk it, you realize you're one bad day away from being way closer to the edge than you like to admit. All of it together, the quiet walkers, the parking warriors, the early morning calm, the wild soundtrack on the sidewalks, makes the city feel way more honest than it ever did through a windshield. It's messy, it's a little absurd, but it's real. And now I'm walking through it instead of just driving past it on my way to somewhere else. On the way home, the energy of downtown feels totally different. The work rush is fading, and it's like the city swaps out office people for dog people. Every block, there's someone walking a dog. Tiny ones trotting like they own the sidewalk. Big ones dragging their humans like they're late for something important. Leashes everywhere, tennis balls, poop bags swinging like sad little accessories. The whole mood shifts from corporate grind to therapy walk with benefits. And then there's that dog park in the middle of the city. The one with 0 gates. No fence, no wall, no barrier, just grass, dogs, and trust. Every time I walk by, I'm low-key waiting to see some golden doodle hit the eject button and sprint straight into traffic. And it never happens. These dogs will chase each other, bark at nothing, stare down pigeons, and still somehow stay inside this invisible boundary like there's an electric force field. Meanwhile, I'm over here wondering if I'm the only one whose dogs have absolutely no chill. If my dog saw a squirrel, they'd be gone. Full speed, NASCAR style, No hesitation, no look back, just I live here now. These city dogs see squirrels, pigeons, random chaos, and they're like, nah, I'm good right here. Watching all of that on my walk back kind of cracks me up. Humans trying to keep it together after a long day. Dogs just happy to be outside. An open park that somehow works on pure faith. It's a weirdly comforting way to end the day. Like the city is reminding me that not everything needs walls to hold it together. Meanwhile, I'm out here still building mental fences around everything. Around my money, my time, my identity. These dogs trust an invisible line more than I trust my own decision-making some days. Watching them stay in bounds makes me wonder, am I the one who ran out of the old yard, or did I finally stop chasing someone else's ball? Riding home at the end of the day always feels different than the morning. On the way in, I'm questioning everything. On the way back, I'm replaying it. Today was a lot in a good way. The train instead of traffic, the walk through downtown, the early calm, the chaos, the yelling at the air, the dogs politely respecting invisible lines better than most drivers respect actual ones. It's not a perfect life, but it feels like I'm actually in it now, instead of watching it from behind the windshield. I'm still a little hesitant though. There's always that quiet what if in the background. What if I stayed in a higher paid job? What if I end up regretting trading money for this version of peace? Those thoughts don't magically disappear just because I had a nice commute. Because let's be honest, peace doesn't pay rent. There's a version of this story where I'm on this same train in a year, telling you this was the dumbest decision I ever made. But sitting on this train heading home, I'm genuinely excited about where this is going. Not just the commute, not just the job, but the whole experiment. The idea that maybe there's a version of life where I'm not burned out all the time, where my days aren't defined by traffic and stress, where the trade-off actually pays me back in ways you can't see on a pay stub. That's what this whole channel is about. Seeing if choosing less money, but less chaos actually adds up to a better life. And you're literally riding along with me while I figure it out in real time. If you've ever thought about making a similar trade, less pay, more sanity, more time, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about what you'd be most scared to give up. I'm not doing this as some polished self-help guru. I'm just a tall dude on a train in LA trying to find out if this was a brilliant move or a slow, cinematic mistake. So if you're watching this thinking, yeah, but what does your bank account say about all this? You're asking the same question I am. Next week, I'm going way deeper into the numbers. I'm breaking down the actual pay cut I took, real numbers, real pros and cons, what I lost, what I gained, what hurts, and what surprisingly doesn't. If you've ever wondered, could I actually afford to do something like this? That episode is for you. For now, I'm gonna sit back, let this train carry me the rest of the way home, and enjoy the fact that for at least one more day, this feels like the right kind of risk. Thanks for riding above the crowd with me, and I'll see you in the next one.